It's the Score North Twin Show.
Do the players in the clubhouse, do they know the Dex plan? Are they keenly aware of you mapping out every week and a half, 2 weeks, what they need to hit for a benchmark to stay on pace to make the playoffs?
No, like you said, I should just start. That whiteboard, there's a lot of space. So for those who are unaware, you walk in the Twins clubhouse, there's a little hallway. When you first open the door, Rocco's office is to the right. Mike Herman, director of travel's office, is to the left. Then there's the clubhouse manager's office. Then right before you get to the right to enter the Twins, insanely large clubhouse, there's this whiteboard that's as humongous whiteboard, a 60-inch TV size whiteboard. And it's got, some information on there hey, tomorrow, game time is this, and then maybe some other messages sprinkled throughout the week. And the lineup cards usually posted on there too. I should now, at the beginning of each Dex plan, just start. I don't even know if anyone would notice, to be honest. I think I could just slap that thing on there. You
should print it off, just throw it up there.
Yeah. Worst case, they'll take it down, but I actually think they might 6-4. I think we can go 6-4.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So guys, 6-4. We'll focus on these 10 games, one game at a time, and then after that we can go forward. By the way, Judd's back in the mix here after a couple days with family.
Yep.
People sending Judd well wishes.
That was very nice. Thank you very much.
Are you full of takes or?
I'm always full of takes. That's sort of how I live my life.
Bursting with takes right now.
I'm a take machine. If I'm not full of takes, I'm in big trouble. So yeah, I am. I've got some fastballs to throw on today's show if that's what you're asking.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
So we'll get to Dex's notebook. It'll be a Dex Dishes edition of the Score North Twin Show. We also have a random twin of the week. A shout out to our friends at Nicolay Law, the exclusive, official, reigning, defending, personal injury law firm of the Score North Twin Show. And they know that when you or a loved one gets hurt, ordinary life can come to a stop. Things can get complicated. That's where Nicolay Law comes in with all sorts of experience. Just regular, everyday people that you see around your communities in the Twin Cities that happen to have law degrees and are here to help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been hurt, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay. Start your path to winning at nicolaylaw.com or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. So, okay, Dex Dishes here from the clubhouse. He is our resident beat podcaster on the ground. Where do you want to start, Dex?
Okay, so I know the Twins are playing a noon game here for their finale against the Kansas City Royals. We'll have an extra innings episode after that as well, so you'll get a double dose of Twins coverage on your podcast and YouTube feeds today. I had a very long talk with Rocco on Tuesday about platoons, because I think that's been a very hot button issue under this coaching staff is platoons. I use the phrase, when your drunk uncle on his fourth Miller High Life is complaining that the lefty can't face a lefty, and why is that? And also, I'm curious on that too. Speaking as a drunk uncle, I'm curious on that, mindset too. So I wanted to ask Rocco, when are there times where maybe you break some of that mold? And I went into some of that stuff on an extra innings episode. But today, the Twins are going to face a right-handed pitcher against the Royals, and I think it's Singer. Singer's on the mound for the Royals today. And the Twins are not opting for their lefty-heavy lineup against Singer. And even though the OPSs show that lefties have a 200-point advantage against right-handed pitchers, I think Rocco is doing one of two things here and kind of reverting to the things that he told me he would do when he doesn't want to go with the platoons. Number one, a lot of those right-handed guys, and I didn't really get a lot of this in extras, so like the Margaux, the Kyle Farmers, a lot of the right-handed guys don't get a lot of at-bats throughout the course of the week because this is a lefty-heavy lineup that's going to always typically get the bulk of the at-bats. Baseball being a sport of repetition and rhythm, the Kyle Farmers and Margaux of the world, even though they have struggled from a 30,000-foot view, no doubt, it's hard for you to really get into a rhythm when you're getting 7 at-bats over the course of a week. And when you look back at what they did against Cole Reagans, a really good lefty, by the way, on Tuesday, that was, I think, Correa, Baldelli, everyone said the same thing, a total team win because the offense had 10 hits. The pitching was really well. The bullpen was great. There was the incredible defensive play in the 9th inning to secure the win. I think Rocco is rewarding those right-handed guys, and also with the Twins facing a very difficult roster decision here too, with Royce Lewis on the verge of coming back. I also think he's giving a chance here for the Margaux, maybe the Kyle Farmers, to show something here, even though the optimal lineup, is to not put the
That's what he's doing.
in.
He's saying, all right, we're putting everyone. It's not a platoon issue today, boys. It's play for your job with Royce Lewis on a flight. He's knocking on the door. Who wants to keep their job?
Is this a difficult decision though? We keep talking about like when Royce comes back, who I've been thinking about this during my time away. I think it's an embarrassment of potential riches of who can be either jettisoned completely or sent down. So like if this is what that is, that's fine. But I'll start with what I told you in the press box. I think it was on Saturday, Dex. I mean, Julian is a prime candidate to be sent down. Julian is an absolute prime candidate. If you let go of Farmer, are you really like, oh man, Kyle Farmer? If you let go of Margaux, who by the way, I would let go of before I let go of Farmer, are you really like, oh, we thought we had a one?
Margaux mashes left-handed pitching though. Like Margaux is one of their best hitters against left-handed pitching, which is a factor. And I know that he's not a guy that you put out there all the time. I'm kind of with you on Farmer. The Julian decision's really interesting because he was one of your best players last year. His glove looks to have improved a lot this year.
Yeah.
But he just, since the end of April, he can barely get on base. And it's a big message to send to a guy that was one of the best players on a playoff team that won their first playoff series, hit a couple big home runs.
Yeah.
To send him down basically before June of his second full season. So I think there's like, how do you give a guy another month to snap out of it, knowing how key he was last year?
But don't forget, I think it was the summer of '99 or so, a young Torrey Hunter, who was a big time prospect, went through struggles that actually are very much like this, and eventually got sent down, and by doing so, got himself right. I'm not saying Julian should be punished. I'm just saying I think there's a case to be made that he could definitely go get himself right, and that long term, I think Torrey would say in retrospect, the move to send him down as a struggling, up and coming player actually helped him out.
It pissed him off, it locked him in, and he never got sent back down again. Yeah,
and it's not a punishment there. It's literally hey, go get yourself right.
Yeah.
The only thing, though, and if that's the case, then you are trusting Kyle Farmer to play second base every single day. Like, and if you want to jettison Farmer, you're okay with Kyle Farmer playing? Like, there's no other option to play second base. Like, Willie Castro was a -6 defensive run saved, hasn't played much second since he left Detroit. Jose Miranda is not an option at second base. So, yes, like, I wouldn't be upset, by the way, if they did send down Julian. I can see that as a realistic possibility, especially if Brooks Lee is knocking on the door and is going to be back with the Saints next week. So
that's what I was going to ask, yeah.
So Are you okay with going, like, a potential month stretch of Kyle Farmer not just hitting lefties and being platooned where he should be, but playing every single day? Because that would be the case if you sent down Julian.
If Brooks Lee gets back and starts to look like he's fine, then yes, I'm fine with a short-term burst of Farmer for Julian to get right, and then Brooks Lee. The other thing too is if this team is truly going to contend for a playoff spot, which I think that they are, like they're incredibly streaky, but there's just a few places too, and I'm not suggesting like massive trades here. You're going to need upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing though is, so you got 4 months left in the season, and we can talk about Brooks Lee. Brooks Lee needs at least minimum a month to mash, and that's assuming
you're right.
He comes flying out of the gate. To me, Brooks Lee is not an option until he surprises you post All-Star break. I don't think you're like waiting, oh my God, Brooks Lee, please go hit really well at AAA for 2 weeks so we can call you up here. So the Miranda thing real quick, let's touch on that for a second, because Miranda is a third baseman, first baseman, corner guy who has played second base before. He's played like 30 or 40 games here and there, but it's been probably 3 years since he's played second base. Is that officially off the table entirely? That like there's no way creatively you could move Miranda back to a position that he has played, but it's been 3 years?
I haven't asked about it, but I would be shocked. Like I would be shocked. I think they would their backup second baseman would probably be Willie Castro. And again, that's not at least second is not trying to stick some butcher there like at short or center. Like, I mean, it's a hideable position to a degree, and credit to Edouard Julien for making an insane jump defensively. Like, he has been a lot better defensively compared to last year. But I would assume Kyle Farmer would hold that down and then maybe like a Willie Castro sprinkled in. But no, I think Miranda's value is with the glove. With the bat, excuse me, not with his glove. His value is with his bat. He's got a really good bat. So I don't think they're going to like confuse him and put him in another spot where he could also be a butcher in the field.
Yeah, it's generally, if you're not the greatest defensive third or first baseman, it's moving to the middle is not going to be in your favor.
Last thought on Julian as well too. I wonder if there's not some type of move that you could make to get a second baseman to plug in there, because here's my concern. I think
they already did Tony Kemp.
Kemp, yeah,
but I guess he didn't. I guess they don't want to call him up. But anyway, my concern with Julian is that you're doing him more harm than good right now.
Do you think so?
Like
1 month, yeah. 1 month of struggle. Do you think 1 month of struggles?
I think some of the stuff that Dex has reported and talked about definitely concerns me about his approach. I don't know it's a major league approach yet, and I think he has the talent. So I like him. But yeah, I think at some point in time here, because Dex, some of the stuff that you've talked about as far as what he's going through at the plate, I don't know. I think he's been exposed. And I unfortunately don't know that he has the adjustment in his toolbox yet. And I think that adjustment might have to be made in St. Paul. So I am a little bit concerned about what you're doing to him, because I don't know that adjustment comes easily at the big league, as Bert would say, at the major league level.
And he had a kind of a scary play on Tuesday where his knee went into the bag really hard. He walked off. Paparesta, Rocco went out there, and it was like a lengthy chat out there. I thought Julian was going to get pulled, which then kind of figured, this will make the Royce Lewis decision probably easier. You're going to IL him and call up Royce. He ended up staying in the game. He had another strikeout looking, though, yesterday. His inability to turn on off-speed pitching and not get the fastballs that he crushes, he does have to make that adjustment. And I do believe probably going to the minors and figuring that out might be the best. He can't be a platoon player. He can't be just a platoon player. I think he has to go down there and figure things out a little bit more. So I wouldn't be shocked if they do end up sending him down.
Yeah. By the way, Tony Kemp, he's the 32-year-old veteran second baseman, but he's also played outfield, kind of utility guy. That the Twins, he was, I believe, waived or DFA'd by the Orioles after a few years with the Oakland Athletics. 32, he's 5'6", 157 pounds or something. He's batting 193 for the Saints right now in 25 games. He is drawing some walks, but if you wanted just a sacrificial lamb to throw out there at second base, now you'd have to find a roster spot, like a 40-man roster spot for him. So that would entail bumping someone off or moving someone to a longer-term IL, which they already did with Justin Topa. So anyways, what else is in your notebook here?
Speaking of adjustments and making the proper ones, I caught up with a very fired up, but appreciating fired up Ryan Jeffers yesterday after the game. So Jeffers is going through a little bit of a struggle, and struggles as in not he can't hit. Pitchers have now adjusted to Ryan Jeffers, because at one point I always said you're starting AL catcher Ryan Jeffers, who's going to win the AL MVP award with the start he was on through the first month and a half of the season. Well, the last 15 games, Ryan Jeffers is hitting just 137, just 7 hits, not a lot of pop. He was telling me at the end of the game yesterday, how it's interesting that he is not getting a single pitch that he knows he can drive and hit. Pitchers are pitching him very uniquely for the first time in his career. And he said he is still trusting his process. He is not ready to make a complete readjustment with how he approaches the plate quite yet. But he's definitely frustrated of, wow, I feel like the first month plus of my of this season was some of the best at-bats I've been taking my entire career. I was crushing pitches, and now I'm not getting next to anything to hit. And yesterday, Seth Lugo, who throws, by the way, in the effective way, the Ricky Nolasco, like 8 different pitches. Now, Lugo's actually really good at pitching, so he can throw the 8 different types of pitches. But he was punishing Jeffers with a bunch of cutters, and Jeffers was doing a great job following them off. He was on them. Then he drops the slider in. Jeffers can't hang, and he strikes out. But it is interesting that Ryan Jeffers, who's someone that has probably been maybe their team offensive MVP throughout the course of the year, maybe just their MVP in general, and now he's finally getting pitched to where he has to probably now start making adjustments that, oh my gosh, I was crushing baseballs. Now how do I continue that over the course of a year? And it's a baseball season, right? Like, you're going to go through struggles. No one's going to be Barry Bonds and Babe Ruth throughout the course of the year. But I did find it interesting that Jeffers basically acknowledged the fact of, I was hitting so well. Now what can I do to start getting pitches that I can hit that aren't typical ones that I know I can drive?
Yeah, because the first 2 or 3 years of his career, he was a decent hitter, but not a dangerous hitter, not someone that you would have to, if you're going to game plan for like 9, 10, 11 guys in a lineup during the course of a series, guys who might come in, lefties, righties. 2 years ago, you weren't spending a ton of time on Ryan Jeffers. You're spending time on Carlos Correa and whoever else might be a threat. But now that you have like a year and a half of sample size of the new Ryan Jeffers, it's interesting. He's not just going to sit down there and bat 8th and get grooved pitches like maybe a couple years ago. So how does he now adjust back the other way?
That's what makes sports great, though, especially this sport in particular, is like in-season cat and mouse games. Like you adjust, you start to hit. And then, especially now with the scouting being, fairly simple as far as like all the mounds of stuff that you can watch, then they adjust, and then it's up to you. And I feel like that's something that goes on with the majority of players their entire career. Like, very few guys, you're like, okay, he sort of perfected it now. There's no way to pitch around him. So like, this will be really intriguing. And meanwhile, the starting AL catcher is now going to be Salvador Perez, because the dude's my age, and this is incredible.
It's awesome.
It's been around for a long time.
What the hell? Like, dude, you're supposed to be old. You were moved to first base somewhat. Old. You're too old. Like,
played
seriously.
First time. Yeah, the other day. Royce was right. He had a great call, and he caught up with him, I think, on Monday or Tuesday.
He's not that old, by the way.
What's that?
Really?
He's not that old. It's weird. He seems like, well, how old do you think he is? That's the thing. He seems like he's been around for 20 years.
Well, 30. I would. He feels 34 to me.
Okay, he just turned 34 2 weeks ago.
But I mean, for a catcher, that's and he's a huge man too. Like, that's
people,
a big dude.
But people talk about him rightfully so, because he came up when he was like 20.
Yeah,
and they talk about him like he was, because he's basically been the Royals catcher for the entire duration of the Target Field era.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you go to watch all of these Royals Twins games at Target Field for a decade and a half, Salvador Perez is the Royals starting catcher. So when you put it into that context, and think, oh, who are those teams back in like 2011, and he's literally playing against Rene Tassoni and Chris Parmalee from 14 years ago.
And he crushes the Twins.
Yeah, I mean, 2021, he led the major leagues with 48 home runs and 121 RBIs as a freaking catcher.
Yeah.
So it's he's on pace to be the AL batting champion. But I'm just saying, like, he seems older because he came into the bigs when he was like 20 years old, but he's not that old.
Yeah, Royce brought up a good point. Like, he does, we don't give enough credit. He's going to cakewalk his way to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't think of him as like the perennial like stars of the game, but like what he's been able to do, and again, as a catcher, he's going to cakewalk his way to the Hall of Fame. The World Series title helps too. Like, the goal, like, he's an awesome player. Awesome player.
He's about to be a 9-time All-Star.
Yeah.
He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Check out his home runs
Gold Gloves
at Target Field alone. I think I heard a stat last night. I think his home run last night tied like Arcia and someone else for the most home runs. Like, he's tying Twins players.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I haven't looked at the list, but I'm guessing players to hit the most home runs at Target Field that aren't twins: Salvador Perez, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion.
Yes.
Probably in that mix.
Baseball.
All right. Give us one more before we get to a random twin here.
Absolutely. So I asked a bunch of Twins players yesterday about like what they have really liked about this team at like the third mark of the year. We're 1/3 through the baseball season, which proves how quickly the baseball season does fly by. And I would say the most of them gave me the same thing. And then I asked Rocco about this, and I kind of prefaced it by saying, hey, before you give me your answer, I think I know what it is, because every single player I asked pretty much gave me the same answer. But the summary of what a lot of these guys were talking about was kind of recovering from adversity and not getting too low, like not doing a woe is me. I asked a Twins player who wasn't here last year, who was brand new to the team this year. And I said, like, what's the difference between your previous organizations and this one? And he goes, when we get on a losing streak, which we've obviously experienced a few times this year, there is not a like shrugging of shoulders and like a pouting nature, the woe is me wild teams, Judd, that is like this has happened to with those swoons. He said, I've never been a part of a clubhouse that really just kind of trusts the process and doesn't get too crazy over things when they're not going well. And then when you're going on the win streak and things are working and you're seeing that process pay off, it's pretty like eye-opening. So I found that pretty interesting that a lot of these guys, to a degree, maybe gave me like your classic player cliche answer on like the camaraderie and the vibe in the room. But I do think it's important for some teams to go through adversity like this Twins team has. I mean, that Bomba Squad team was fun. Like 2019 was a blast. They won 100 games. They set a home run record. It was awesome. But they never really went through a stretch of adversity, and then they get slapped in the face for 4 games and their season's over. Like, that 2019 season was fun, but my God, it was over within 5 days from the time the regular season ended and the playoffs started because you got swept by the Yankees. I think that this group has gone through some lulls, even though they haven't proven they can be one of the best teams in baseball. I do think that does matter for a team that has postseason aspirations. So I like that, talking to Rocco, talking to a bunch of Twins players about it, that all of them were kind of on the same page about that feeling.
The best news for this team is they are playing at the 1/3 mark, close to like 90 win pace baseball. They're on pace to win like 8. I haven't done the exact math, but like 88 or 90 wins, somewhere in there, without their best position player, Royce Lewis, and with their number one starter, Pablo Lopez, having just kind of a mediocre start to the season with an ERA over 5. So your number one starter and your number one position player, your number one Royce Lewis, clubhouse, heartbeat, clutch hitter, all these things are joining the party at some point. Like Royce Lewis is going to join a team that's already on pace to make the playoffs. And if you look at the peripherals, Lopez, the expected ERA and the FIP is like 2 runs lower than the actual ERA. So you'd think that would align itself at some point. That's the good news for this team.
So here's my question too. With the way that this team is trending, what is the front office going to be allowed to do as the deadline approaches, right? Because like if Jorge's still struggling, and I mean pitchers have years like this where it's just sort of weird. It's an art, and so
Jorge or Pablo?
Or I'm sorry,
Jorge Lopez
Pablo,
on the line.
I was thinking about Jorge because of his unbelievable meltdown yesterday with the Mets when he tossed his glove. Who, by the way, I feel bad for because that dude's been through a lot. But anyway, what are they going to be allowed to do as well? Because you have some definite places of need, and if you supplement this right, and again, I'm not saying like huge changes, but if you add here and there, I think it could help at least to a certain degree restore the faith of a fan base that I think has been shaken. But if you don't, you're sort of waving a white flag in some ways that I think there could justifiably be frustration with, because this team, I mean, this definitely feels, if nothing else, this definitely feels like a wild card team, right? Like it's
now it does, yeah.
Yeah. I think it feels like a division winning team when you get Royce Lewis back, and if Lopez sort of weathers the storm. And I do not believe the Guardians are a 100 win team. The Royals, they've got some nice pieces, but I don't look at these 3 teams and say, oh, the Guardians and the Royals are definitively better than the Twins once you get Royce Lewis back. So I think they can still win the division, I guess is what I'm saying.
But what are they allowed to do? Because the difference between, Phil, what you just said, the difference between it happening and not could be a move or two. And if you make those moves, you might be exactly right.
And I by the way, last thing on this before we get to random twin, I don't think like they need this this insane shakeup where they need to sell like their number 1 or 2 pros. I think like they're a good bat away from being a very good team. Like and one more good, we brought Vladdy Jr. Like I think they're a legit bat away from being a very good team to hang with some of those bigger teams.
And there's a chance that we talk about Brooks Lee. I mean, there's some dudes that are hitting in the minor leagues right now too. I mean, there's things that might pop up internally. Matt Wallner might join the party again at some point. Like there's some levers you can pull going forward. But yeah, I mean, Judd's question's a valid one. Let's say you decide as a front office, Pete Alonso is we need a guy like Pete Alonso to come in here and play first base or DH and just hit bombs. But his salary is $20 million. Prorated at the deadline, it would be still like $8 to $10 million in extra expense. You know, it's a rental player. But like, are they willing, is the Pohlad family, the cheap Pohlads, are they willing to spend $8-10 million on someone? Justin Verlander, if you want a starting pitcher or something, right?
Look at you. So
Plouffe brought it up, man. Plouffe brought it up.
Oh, he is all in.
It would be a blast.
He is all in.
So, okay, I have a random twin of the week for you guys. But first, let's make a stop at Red Cow. Family owned, locally owned, established in 2013. So not quite as old as Salvador Perez's baseball career with the Royals. But this is one of the best places in the state of Minnesota. 6 locations, by the way. 5 in the Twin Cities, 1 in Rochester. I love the North Loop location. One of the best places to get amazing food and watch sports as well. On the food side, so many great burgers, snacks, you name it, cheese curds, some of the best chips and dip, buffalo cauliflower, burgers, chicken sandwiches, 36 beers on tap, local brews, craft cocktails, and belly up to the bar where there's a line of TVs for you to watch your favorite baseball team and other sporting events. Red Cow in the Twin Cities, 5 locations and 1 in Rochester. Also, a shout out to our friends at EcoFun. EcoFun Motorsports is your summertime fun headquarters. Scooters, motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, and some of the top premier brands like Yamaha, Kawasaki, Vespa. Also, for all your summertime fun on the water, you can visit Tim and the team at the Forest Lake store, which has a fully stocked line of 2024 Kawasaki and Yamaha watercraft. When you stop into one of the 2 EcoFun locations, Forest Lake and Burnsville in the Twin Cities, tell them Score North sent you. Tell them the Score North Twin Show. Tell them Flagrant Howls sent you in. Stop by their website, ecofunmotorsports.com. Okay, gentlemen, I have a random twin of the week for you guys. My 6-week winning streak was snapped, and now it's my turn to deliver the clues to Judd and Declan. All time, I have 17 wins. Declan has 14. Judd has 10. Judd has not won a game of random twin of the week in about 4 months.
It's been a long, dry stretch.
Also, Dukes is in the other studio. Dukes, I know you can hear this. Dukes can't help me. Okay, so Dukes, no talking back on the mic.
No cheating.
As much as I would love for you to help me and we can juice our way to a victory, let's do the honor system here.
Don't you do it, Darren.
So no Googling and no doogieing. You can control F if you want to search for previously used random twins. So I'll throw out the clues. You guys get up to 3 incorrect guesses, 3 strikes. If one of you hits a 3rd strike, the other one wins automatically. You can shout out guesses whenever you want. Here we go.
All right. Let's do it.
By the way, the previous 5 random twins are Rick Reed, Pat Mears, Eric Milton, Al Newman, Dan Gladden. This random twin played with 6 total major league teams. This random twin made $49 million playing baseball.
Good amount of cash.
What's interesting is this random twin is part of another organization's Wall of Honor. So the Wall of Honor is an exhibit that commemorates baseball players, coaches, and executives and broadcasters who have made a significant contribution to the blank Major League Baseball team and meet set criteria regarding career milestones or service time. So you got to be a certain level of impactful in an organization like this one to be part of their wall of honor. Each member is honored with a bronze plaque bearing their image and a summary of their career. The Twins don't have a wall of honor. They just have the Twins Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
I guess it's kind of the same type of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
This twin, former twin, random twin, played 290 games with the Twins. Give you guys some time to think about this. This random twin was traded 3 times in his career. What's interesting is in 2 of the trades that he was involved in, the trades also included 2 of the most dominant pitchers of the last 20 years.
Oh, God.
Have we done, hold on a second here. I need to do a control F, which is why I'm on my computer right now. I'm not cheating.
Sure.
There's no cheating going on. There's no.
This random twin played 13 major league seasons, tallied 145 career home runs.
Wait, 40. Tallied what? For home runs? Sorry, I was looking up something. I was looking up something.
You said third. What?
What?
Oh, that was great.
It was 13 major league seasons.
Okay.
145 career home runs and a 724 career OPS.
Okay.
What was the OPS?
724.
Okay.
We're talking about a 2-time All-Star and a Gold Glove winner.
Oh, my God. I almost had a guess, but he didn't win a Gold Glove.
Yeah, no, this guy didn't win a Gold Glove either.
Dude.
In fact, this random twin received MVP votes in 2 different seasons. Did not win MVP, but received MVP votes.
Would this by chance be Roberto Kelly?
Roberto Kelly.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel bad if that's it. Okay, good.
That's a great random twin. Good, solid Yankee career.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think he played for 6 teams, but I had a guess before, but it's not. The home runs don't add up.
This random twin was not part of the Major League Baseball draft because he was an international free agent.
Oh, God, dude.
An international free agent.
Yeah.
Can I ask did the Gold Glove come with the Twins?
It did not.
Okay.
Did not.
Okay.
It came after his Twins career.
No,
his career peaked after he left the Twins, just to be clear.
Peaked. Well, I had another guess, but
6 teams.
No, he didn't play for 6. He didn't play for 6.
6 teams.
He began and ended his career in the same organization, 13 years apart. I actually did not know this. I found that out this morning.
Dude, who the hell is this?
So his career peaked after he left.
Yeah, I mean the
Okay,
Twins.
then
The
that
Twins were
eliminates-
hoping. The Twins were hoping that they would bear the fruits of his peak potential. But
So he was an international free agent that I take it did not originally sign with the Twins.
nope, he signed with a National League organization when he was 16 years old.
Okay. No, that wouldn't be it either because
he made his major league debut on. Oh, interesting. He made his major league debut on May 13th, 2007. And he went 2 for 4, stole a base against the team that he eventually peaked with.
Is this? Nope.
Oh, almost had a guess.
feels
there.
like it's in. This feels like it's in Dex's wheelhouse.
Yep. I almost had a guess,
his
but it's
agent,
not
by
him.
the way, his agent at one point was Scott Boras, according to the internet.
I'm trying to think of the trades. You said 2 of the most dominant pitchers, and I have a couple in mind, but I don't.
Well, I'll give you this. One of those trades. So, of the 3 times he was traded, 2 of them involved the Twins.
No, that wouldn't be him either.
So I'll give you that clue.
So he's an international free agent, though. That's eliminating a lot of guys that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I'll give you one of the pitchers, the one of the dominant pitchers. He was once traded for Josh Hader.
Carlos Gomez.
That's who I thought, but it's not him.
It is.
Wait, it
Carlos
is?
Gomez. Judd's back on the board. First time in 4 months. Look at
Hold
this
on.
guy.
You know, I come
Let's
back.
go.
Oh, it's the Mets. Son of a-
Tragedy in the family. I come back and I'm taking nothing.
I
but
had
heat.
Carlos Gomez. I was like, but it's not him.
I feel like Declan
I didn't pull
started
the trigger on
started
it.
to guess Carlos Gomez because you said, is it
Yes.
the C came out?
We're
Is
back.
it?
We're back.
Judd's back, everybody.
And Dex is not going to sleep for a week.
What threw you off, Dex? Let's talk this. Talk this
team.
through.
I think he forgot a team.
No. Where did I have the frickin' clues written down? What the 13 major league seasons gave me pause because like that's a boatload of seasons. And then
2007.
when you just said the MLB debut, I was convinced the debut happened with the Twins, which would have been 08. So he did make appearances with the Mets then in 07.
Yeah, he had like 100 plate appearances with the Mets as a rookie.
That's what-
as like a 21-year-old.
That's
So
what threw me off.
Who's the other pitcher?
Johan Santana.
Yohan Santana.
Oh, he was involved. That's right. He
Santana,
was.
yeah. I had,
Okay.
God,
And
Duh.
JJ Hardy, right?
that was
he
the other
traded-
one I
Well,
thought of.
Jim Hoey was an extension of his lifeline too. Another one of the great dominant
What?
pitchers.
Right,
of
but
the
they
last
got
year.
was it the Milwaukee deal where they got Hardy from the Brewers in the?
They straight up swapped.
in
Yeah,
the
they
Helmets trade?
after a year and a half of
Is-
Carlos Gomez, they straight up
all right,
swapped
all right.
him for JJ Hardy.
All right.
And
Is
then
he on
so they sold both.
Milwaukee's Wall of Honor?
He is. Yeah.
That seems a little aggressive. That seems
Yeah,
like he was good.
I'm
but
gonna-
that seems
I'm
He
gonna
had
agree
two.
with
He
a
had
little
two
aggressive.
I'm going to agree with
awesome
Declan
years.
on that one.
No, he had
That's-
3 awesome years in Milwaukee.
That does
3
seem-
awesome years.
That's-
Yeah, but the
that's
Brewers
a
have been
little
around
much.
for a while. It
That's-
should be
that's
more.
a little
It should be at least 5.
a little
I'm gonna go Dex on this one. Team Dex.
It's a little aggressive. Yeah.
All right, boys.
I'm
Anyway,
not.
all right.
I
There's
quit.
your random twin, the Score North
Yeah,
Twin
no,
Show.
You quit. I quit. We all quit.